one of the things we wanted to do at EdgeCast was make a very open and diverse experience. And the things I wanted to stay away from were the old boys network, the locker room mentality. And so we set up a whole bunch of different things that facilitated a different kind of culture. Bring your kids to work day, family picnics. Instead of having sort of happy hours on Fridays that ended up, everyone going to a bar and getting drunk, we had volleyball on Wednesdays with a keg, and it was just more athletic. We had EdgeCast Fit Club where we brought a trainer in. We, put lactation rooms in to be considerate for our female employees, and then also flexible hours, because my partners and I, as dads, realized that we had to contribute a little bit more than maybe, sorry dad, my parents' generation, to the household and the kids growing up. And so I think that there's a big diversity change that we did in terms of making an open and inviting culture for folks across all genders and ethnicities, and that was something I learned from my mom.
And how was that received by your partners and colleagues and staff and so on? I mean, what do they think about it?
It was good. I mean, a typical conversation at a board meeting ended up being more about how, I can't believe, I ruined my wife was breast pumping for a while, and we had all of the milk, it's, liquid gold, stored in the freezer, and I left the freezer door open, and 4 months of liquid gold was destroyed. And my partners were talking to me about what an idiot I was. So we made sure that in our lactation room, we actually had a really good, secure fridge.
That you couldn't get near.
That I couldn't get near. They had a good lock on it. But that's the kind of conversation that was happening in our management meetings and board meetings instead of, I don't know what else would have happened. But it impacted us a lot.
Right, and the reaction obviously was a positive reaction.
I think we were able to attract a lot more millennials who felt like in a collaborative environment they could participate, and we also changed the work culture to be one that was much more open and flexible and friendly. And I think the female employees who we have hired and nurtured have, I think, really appreciated that.
It seems to me that, you can have the best policies in place. The question then really becomes how to bring them to life in the context of those kind of perceptions. Charlotte, I wonder what you've seen around this, because bringing the right policies really to life in the way that James is just describing is really the challenge, right?
James and I were both talking about interviewing these younger people, or looking at our own kids. My kids are 19, 24, and 27, and their expectation is that they're going to not be treated terribly separately as men and women, and they expect that they're going to trade off in their career to manage family, and that they're going to toss coins to figure out who's going to take the job that moves the two of them. I mean, it's completely different than the way my husband and I ordered our lives. Anyway, James, did you have experience in that?
Yeah, no, it's been much of the same, and I'm often confused by my role is supposed to be, and I can only imagine what it is like for this next generation. But everyone we've seen, because the millennials are starting to have kids now, and they're sort of moving into that challenging role of how do I present myself as an employee, as a partner, as a spouse, as a parent, and where do I find that balance? And I think that they're much more attuned to it. I think you were commenting how paternity leave, right? I think in Europe it's long and mandatory for both parties, right?
Yeah.
So I think that there's a dynamic that's going to shift in our business environment where we have to expect the parents to be relevant, both man and woman, in participating in the children's lives. We have to expect a different kind of work-life balance with flexible hours, and we have to expect that there's just greater awareness. And also, frankly, parents aren't always a man and a woman. It could be two women, it could be two men. I mean, in my company, we have every kind of different gender, ethnicity, and you name it. And so it was a very eye-opening experience for me that, my director of product marketing wanted paternity leave for him and his partner to go have a kid. And I'm like, okay, go for it. Because that's the nature of the world we live in today.